Well, hello, and welcome back. I got a little bit of chocolate in my mouth. Oh, let's turn that light on. Let's take these glasses off. I'm Andrew O'Neill, and I'll be your Beyond Code Liver for today and every day. Well, unless you find somebody else to tell you that they're a Beyond Code Liver, which I think is unlikely. Anyway, so what we've got is we are kind of doing part 2 of part 14, which is simply part 15, which is that we're implementing this flow in the browser where we have the social login, the what's your email, and then we're going to do either password or magic link. We need to have the option for both, actually, and we'll figure out what the UI is for that later. But just implementing it technically, which is essentially the same thing. Anyway, so we might get to the point where we get a little deeper into creating different email layouts. We need to have a couple just for testing. But anyway, slightly different screens based on what we're doing. Then we're going to go into, you open up the email, you get some prompt slightly different. You're verified, you can close this window versus taking them to the dashboard versus showing, if they're clicking on the device on a phone or something and they started the process on a desktop, clicking on a phone, it's your Chrome, desktop, Windows, computer, do you want to continue, blah, blah, blah. So just kind of give you an overview of where we're at. And so what I am at, this is probably still doing the polling in the background. It's probably been doing it this whole time. Also, I should probably stop my little other video encode that I got going. I'm going to press pause on that. There we go. Let's reserve the full max of the CPU for the stream, shall we? Okay. So yeah, that's just been polling incessantly. My screen is a little bit off where it's hot corners are or whatever, because the alignment is off between the 3 screens I have here. Anyway, yeah, that looks like that was polling for a good long while, until maybe the computer fell asleep or something. We shall see. Probably want to put a timeout after 15 minutes or something. I'll just leave that as a to-do for now. I'll just put a comment there. To do. Timeout after 15 minutes. And let's see. So we're just doing this as a developer thing. Putting the email here so that they don't, or the link that would go in the email here so they don't have to wait for it to come through. And all right, so where we left off is I'm saying success here, but I didn't actually complete the process. I checked to see is the token that comes in this manner, is it valid? But then I didn't actually do the exchange piece to expire it and redeem the ID or access token. So I'm going to do that bit right now. And what we need to do, we're going to get out of this part of it and go into I feel like this is a little bit strange. So we're at the continue login bit. Okay. I think we want a function that's something like confirm. I don't know what to call it. Confirm grant. We'll figure out some of these names later. So basically, yeah, let's say Let me back up a step. So I do want to say I am live on the Twitches and the YouTubes. So comments are rolling. If you've got them, you can make them. Oh, and I'm wearing my Link shirt, not my Beyond Code shirt. Oops. Oh well, it's a similar color. No one will notice. All right. So what I need to check is if we are in the same browser that we started in. So we start the login process in a browser, we go to our email, we click the link, we end up in the same browser. Then we can essentially say you're logged in, you can close this tab because you don't need two tabs open. And that's what one of these checks is for. So let me just put this. This is the same browser we started in. That's not entirely true just from this bit here. Oh, whoops, here. That's not entirely true. We also need to check for the challenge token. How would we check for that? I want to see. I think I'm going to postpone that for just a minute. Let me get back here. We're going to test that here. So let's do it this way instead. If this is true, because that's really a better case to handle. So where we want to be at this point is do we want to display the Remember This Device screen here or in the other tab? I think let's just make the decision for now that we're going to display it here. Okay. So we're going to need one more. So if we're at the page where it says success, it's because we're probably in the same browser. And really, we need to check two conditions here. We need to check resp.data.id is equal to, I guess, more like this. Let's see. If we are in, gotta be careful about these things. Session storage is not across tabs. We need to check across tabs, so we need to use local storage. Local storage won't work in an iframe, but we're not going to be in an iframe. And I don't know what else we'd be able to do. So, yeah, I guess this would be it. Local storage dot get item. And then let's call this Auth 3000. Sure. All right. Let me check and see if there actually is presently any sort of ID in the token. I don't think there is yet. But there needs to be. or there is in the token, but I don't want to have to parse the token. I should be able to get that ID right in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back on the node side, and I am going to make sure that in what we get back, oh, yes, and here. In what we get back, we should get the ID. So where's that little ditty at? All right, here we are. This is the bit where we are given back all the stuff. So at this point, I like the idea of there being a state or a status, like pending, for example, so you don't have to duck type check. Because right now, basically, if there's a verified by, state verified by, whoops, meta.verified by, if there is one, then the state is valid. Otherwise, the state is pending. I don't know if that's the way I want to do it, but we're going to do it that way for now. And we need to send back an ID for this. And the ID is ID. How about we do let ID up here? And either way, if we pass through, we get an ID. So that's good. And in fact, looks like we could just move this down here as well. And then we could also check if there's not an ID what to do. Oh, whoops. Let's put the ID there. Okay. So we're going to send back the ID as part of, we're polling to check to see, did the link to verify the email get clicked yet? So now that's going to be there, which means let me go back to the browser code. This should be correct. Oh, this also means that I should be storing this in its original location. Let's see. I think that this should come back with an ID. We could do set item. And whatever, we could set the ID as the ID. And I do want a fallback for when local storage is not available. I think that it's still available in incognito tabs. Pretty sure it is. But there's situations in which local storage is not available. And I need to think about that. Because this doesn't really, the only thing that matters for is we got two tabs open and we want to see, are they the same browser or not? And in fact, you know what? Just put a timestamp in there instead. There we go. Now, I don't think that we actually do get back the ID from this resource. So I'm going to make sure that we get that back there as well. So when we call issue, we get back, what do we send back? We send back challenge token. Let's send back the ID as well. I think we just call it ID up above here. Let's see, ID. Yep. Okay. So that'll give me a way to know with a fair amount of certainty that we're in the same browser. Okay. And that makes it nice and easy. All right, so if we're in the same browser we started in, then really we just want to confirm, do you want to remember this device? So I'm actually going to say in either case, I don't know what we do in this case. I'm just going to put nothing there for now. I don't know what the message should be. But we want to go ahead and just maybe confirm login, which is, what would we call this process? Is deciding remember device. Maybe we just called it that. Remember device. Prompt, there we go. Prompt remember device. That's a good name. It's a good name. Vincent, a good name. Alrighty. Prompt remember device. That's what we'll do. And that will actually already be on the screen. We just need them to click. And I think that's kind of the case either way, right? Because we're going to show a screen with a message, and then no matter which way we go about it, yeah, I think that's right. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go through this process so you can see, and I can see, what exactly it is that we are looking at here. And I do have comments open both on Twitch and YouTube, so feel free to ask a question if you got them. All right, let's go back. We're gonna refresh here. I'm going to do email, and then I'm going to hit enter, and now I have my sign-in link, and I'm going to open this link in a private window, let's say. All right, cool. So now it is showing this, but what if I open it not in a private window? What if I open it? Cool. So at this point, these have slightly different user agents, interestingly enough. Oh, it's probably not that they have different user agents. It's that local storage is not active in the private window, the different local storages. Okay. So in the original tab, we're showing go check your email. Because it's developer mode, we're actually putting the link that we would put in the email. Here we've got remember me for 30 days or log in temporarily, which when I click one of these should confirm and continue. And then over here, I have the same thing, but I'm going to replace this with show like an Apple icon or something. Good old Mozilla 5.0. Oh, the early days of the web. Okay, and this does show up as Chrome. Does it show up as Brave or no? It does not. Interesting. Brave does not distinguish itself from Chrome. Huh. I didn't realize. I guess there's no reason that it should, being that it's the same engine and will be for the foreseeable future. I'm sure at some point, if it's popular enough, it'll break off and do its own thing, just like Chrome did with WebKit and all of that. Okay, so good. We've got the prompt remember device. And then I think what happens if we click on this, not implemented, not implemented. Great. Cool. So now we need to implement that. And the difference between the two is we should be able to send some sort of signal that says the user trusts this computer. And the trick here is that on the server side, the server will never trust the client for anything more than what the intent was. So we're not going to be able to be specific and actually say, remember me for 30 days. That should be up to whatever the server's policy is. But we could say that we trust or we don't trust. I think that's what this should be. So I'm going to do a fetch here. Go find, yeah, this looks like a good one to copy. I'm just looking for something to copy. All right, request verification. Let's do this again. Let's request meta. I guess I could have called that poll. These all should have better names. And let's see. This would be basically we're finalizing or verify. Let's see. Finalize verification. That's what we'll call this. And then I'm trying to remember. I think I called it complete. I'm going to go through and change these names later because I just kind of named them one thing and now I'm going through and so it is. Oh, oops. I forgot. You couldn't actually see this when I was looking at it earlier. So that's where I was reading that information from. I'm going to bring that off screen for the moment. Okay, finalize verification. We're going to complete this. And we are going to do it with, I think we're putting in the token here. And finalize verification then should take the secret. And we're going to pass the secret in. And then basically we should be able to say something like trust device. And this is going to be trust. So let's say, what's the secret? And do we want to trust the device? And the difference is going to be, are we setting the cookie long-term or short-term? What are the rules that the cookie is going to have to follow? If we trust the device, then maybe on the server side, we say, well, the user wanted to trust this, so we're going to let that cookie be there for 30 days or 90 days or 180 days or whatever it is. If they don't trust the device, then we might want to set the cookie with a pattern where basically the cookie has to be touched every hour. And if it's not, then it expires. So that way, essentially, it would expire at the end of the day. You go home, you eat dinner, you're logged out. All right, and then we don't need to do template on that. And I think we can get rid of that because we actually are using it now. So I don't need to say prototype not used yet because I think we did switch over to using that. So token and secret and trust device. I think this is good enough. And there might be some other signal that we want to send. And there is one. Okay, there's actually two things that need to be considered here, which is the question on this one actually is, are we trusting this device? trying to imagine what this might look like. I'm just going to go with it for now. We'll figure it out as we go. All right. So there's going to be a trust device, and then we're going to await the response, and the response that we expect this to have, you know, this will be our ID token. I'm not sure what else is going to be in there. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I'm going to go ahead and create our other function, which very similarly is going to be exchange. Oh, I don't need to have all this there. I don't know why I kept that comment in as I've been copying it. This is going to be the challenge token. And I don't think there's much difference between the two. I'll have to go check on the server side and see. Let me see here. What is the difference, technically speaking, between the exchange? All right, there's a lot of internal logic that's different. Okay. It's setting that it's exchanged. Sure. I need to have the audit log in place. Gosh, there's so many little things that need to be done. But I don't think there's really that much different between the two. It's going to set verified by. Yeah, I mean, there's enough. And then the exchange should happen. If the user agent is not the same between where it's being exchanged. Yeah, I would actually just say this is an error. Oh, yeah, I do say this is an error. Okay. And really, I don't know that we need. I don't know that we need this. Yeah, I think. Okay, here's what we need to do. So we want to check that essentially the browser that was issued the challenge token, the original browser that made the request to do the magic link sign-in process, is the same browser that's doing the exchange with that token. So if the IP address is different or the ordered by is different, or the user agent is different, then we don't want to complete the request. There are some cases where, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't check the IP address, because there are cases where you switch between Wi-Fi networks in the middle of something because of your reasons. So I'm actually going to comment this out for now, and then I'm going to put a comment on the comments. It's reasonable enough that well, not reasonable enough. It's probably more likely that the Wi-Fi might change than that an attacker has the same token at a different IP address. It is not reasonable, however, to think that the browser's user agent might change during the middle of an authentication process. That to me would seem highly unlikely and highly suspect. So I'm going to go with, yeah, it's okay for the IP address to change, not okay for the user agent to change. I've definitely been in the middle of processes where I have to switch from Wi-Fi to Ethernet or vice versa. So, okay. Set the exchange.date, store this. All right, to do audit log. So really what this is about, yeah, this should be auditing. Okay. And ID token, access token, claims. Come from get ID claims. Okay, so this function that's get ID claims, we're going to have to replace it, or it's going to have to change. I know that's not quite right, but basically what needs to happen there is that when everything is verified and we say, okay, we know now that this is the right user's email address. And I think we actually do want to be able to specify some other things in here as well. Yeah, we do. We want to be able to put rec.body in there. And I think in every case we want rec.body to be able to go in there. Where is rec.body? Where was I? Exchanged at. Let me go back up here. So first of all, rec.body. It's right there. Okay. So we actually do want rec.body to be able to go into the get ID claims. And I guess respecting that really belongs on the other end. But let's say claims is rec.body. Claims has multiple meanings depending on which direction it's going. If I'm asking, like, hey, give me the claims I should put in the token, here are the claims that the client requested. There may be select things in there, such as trust device true, that the function that's being supplied to get the claims that should go in the token and in the cookie. So this currently is imperfect because there are three different things that could be going on. ID token, meaning proving identity. Access token, such as having a role or access to a specific asset, like a file that you can download or something like that. And then the refresh token in the cookie, which could be long-lived and is the thing most likely to be affected by the whole trust device issue. So we want that to be able to go through. I'm going to do a quick get ID claims search through here to make sure that everywhere this is used, that rec.body goes through, because it really does need to. Okay, it's just those two places. Get access claims. Oh, that's not there. Oh, I see. It was the other file where it already had this set up correctly. So basically, there's a couple of things that I know I'm going to send you the email. I know I'm going to send you the type. I know I'm going to send you the issuer, but I don't know what I'm going to get from the browser. And what of it I should, well, these are the things that I know that I should care about. The stuff that we get from the browser, we don't know what of it we should or shouldn't care about. That's opaque from the perspective of building the library. What the browser sends is opaque, meaning we want to allow the user of this library to be able to extend their own functionality. So we just pass this thing through. And again, claims might be the right name, might not be the right name for it, but it's what I got right now. And okay. So confirm there is a little bit of different logic in there. It makes sense that it's a little bit different. And then this also might have a set cookie in it. It should have a set cookie in it. And it might have an access token in it. So those are the three things that might come back. And there potentially could be something else come back. I think we got success true. I just like to put that on everything, because I know if there's not a success true, then at least at that, I know it wasn't successful. Because error handling can be tricky. So it's nice to have a value that you can count on yourself to provide. Okay. So it's going to look like that coming back. And same thing up here, actually. So finalize verifications. Where do we use that? We use that in the place where it is not implemented. So we would do finalize verifications. And really the only difference between these two is one of them, well, we got to get the secret from somewhere. Do we have the secret here? Query string, query.token, query.token. Okay. So we need to pass this along. Secret. And then do we want to trust the device? So this, the default might be true. We might want to figure out, actually finalize verifications. Actually, I prefer this. There we go. So either way, I call the same thing. We can get rid of this not implemented. And what we can do. If the verification, if we get back a token, we don't need the secret anymore. We don't need anything that we've used up to this point. That can all be disregarded. We just need to basically dashboard or close. I'm going to call that what we're doing here. All right, trust is false. And we would need to change this. If the default is to not trust. So for example, whatever the default form action is the form action that happens when you hit enter on the keyboard. If the default form action is that we should trust the site, then we want the big, large submit button to, well, that's the case we're assuming right now. It's the big, large submit button is the same thing as hitting enter. It's the default action. The not default action would be to click login temporarily or whatever. So sorry, I keep checking my phone. There's just a couple of things that there's a group thing going on tonight. I need to I need to make a decision on timing for. And I'm just seeing what people are saying. Okay. All right, so dashboard or close would be the very last thing that happens here. Okay, what do I want? Oops, that's not right. Thinking real quick. I might need some information that I'm currently, well, I'm not passing through anything right now, but I may need some information to know whether the correct action is to go to the dashboard or to ask the user to close the tab. But let's say for right now, we're just going to tell everybody it's safe to close this tab. Doesn't make any sense. Well, it does kind of. The other thing is whether this is in mobile or not. Because if it's in mobile, then the thing that opens, you actually want So when it's on mobile, you have one tab open, you go to the mail client, you get another tab open. You'd want the one that is not in front to be the one that says it is now safe to close this tab. On desktop, you might want instead the one that was the original. So on mobile, the one that's the original might be the one you want to say it's safe to close this tab, because you want the one that they opened to be the one that continues their experience. Assuming that the login process didn't happen in the middle of a critical action, the login process happened elsewise. But on desktop, it's the reverse, because people get freaked out. Some people get freaked out if they have two tabs open of the same thing. Like, it weirds them out. Sounds strange. I'm not sure if I believe it myself yet, but this is what I've been told. And this is the information I'm going off of. So the confirmation tab would be the tab that would say close this, and the original tab would be the one that goes to the dashboard. So we got to carry some state forward to figure that out. But for right now, just say, hey, it's safe to close this tab. And well, actually, this is going to get back a response, and that response is going to have data, which is going to have a token. So that token is actually safe to put. It should be the ID token should be safe to put in to local storage. If we're only worried about the same tab, then we might want session storage. If this is a bank application, you'll notice it's kind of annoying. Actually, I don't know that it has a lot of value to it, but when you log into a bank, pretty much any of them, whether it's Chase or Wells Fargo or One Finance or Discover or Simple or whatever it is, if you try to open up another tab, you just copy the URL and put in another tab. Makes you go through the login process again for that tab. And that's because they're using session storage. So if you want that kind of experience, then you could put this in session storage. You could also just put it in something that your application has access to, some sort of state management your application has access to. But that would mean that on refresh, it would go away. They would not persist at all, not even within the same tab. I don't know why they don't call session storage tab storage. Seems like that would have been a better name for it. And then local storage, if you come back to the site in 5 minutes, or as long as the token is alive, then you're still good. So those are kind of our options. So we could use shared object if object if session should not persist on refresh. Use session storage if session should not persist between tabs. Use local storage if session should not be long-lived. Use cookie for refresh token. And I should HTTPS, so it should be secure, same site, HTTP only cookie. So that's kind of the rules, I would say. So let's take our resp dot, and I'm using the term session here loosely because some people use session exclusively to mean cookies, but whether you store the session in a cookie or in a token, it's still a session. Some people like to argue that point, but they're wrong. But for clarity's sake, I will put this here. And we're going to have resp.data.id token. And an ID token should be safe to set. Oh, we also didn't clear out. Yeah, we should clear out. Let's see, local. Let's put this. To do clear. Well, clear challenge ID out of session storage. Let me see where I put that. I could do it like that. And I do want this to be unique because it is perfectly possible that a person starts 2 login processes and finishes one of them. So we don't want to just overwrite, because then you end up getting weird behaviors. So you do want, at least I want to allow a user to be able to have a login process that they start twice and maybe even finish twice. But certainly, yeah. And I do want, let me put this to do here. Oh, I've already got to do timeout after 15 minutes. To do expire. I think the challenge token already has an expiration baked into it, actually. To do. No, I'm going to put that over here. I'll just check it right now, actually. Then I don't have to worry about it anymore. Let me go check on that. Lib, magic link, challenge token. JWT 1 hour is what? This is issue. 1 hour seems a little bit long. I think maybe 20 minutes. Because you could get on the phone, you could be in the middle of it, get on the phone. You wouldn't be upset if afterwards it didn't work, but it'd be nice if it did. So 5 minutes is too short. I know from my own experience, because you start something, you go, something happens. 15 minutes, I think, is right on the border. 20 minutes, I think, should be fair enough. But this should be configurable as well. And there's got to be a balance between reasonable defaults and configurability, and I am going to err on the side of reasonable defaults, reasonable, well-documented defaults. I do have to make sure that it's all well documented. Okay, so what do we want to do here? Get item. It's also possible, so when you think about YouTube, for example, or Google products, or any enterprise product, you'll have access to multiple ID tokens, or at least you can switch back and forth between accounts, which probably means that an access token is an ID token is being exchanged for an access token to a particular account. And that is something that I actually need as part of this. I don't know if I need to demonstrate that here. That might be beyond the scope of this in particular. But anyway, let's say we're going to get a token. And the ID token, we might want to have it be a little bit longer lived. Access tokens, we might want to refresh sooner, because ID doesn't grant necessarily anything. It gives you the ability to exchange for another token. But then some check has to go in place on the database side. So you have some, like if you fire an employee and they still have an ID token, but they go to exchange it for an access token, when they get looked up in the database, they're not there. It's a stop. So at least from that design perspective, that ID tokens are something that don't carry a lot of weight in of themselves, but that are used to check identity in order to get access. It's fine to let them live a little longer. Whereas access tokens, you want them to live a little shorter, because you want, when the access is expired, when the database interaction happens, that checks to see, well, because one of the whole premises, not one of the whole premises, but one side effect of using tokens in this manner is that for certain interactions, you don't have to check the database every single time. For certain interactions, you can say, okay, I exchanged my ID token for an admin token. And now, for the next 15 minutes, I can just use this token as an admin. And unless there's something that an admin can't do that I need to go look up specifically to see if I can do, even though an admin can't do it, because maybe I'm a super admin for this item, like I'm the owner, the person that created this item inside of this folder or something like that. You don't need to go look up in the database. You can just use a role and say, for this group of things, this person has a token for that group, etc. All right, so set item. At that point, we're kind of hunky-dory, I think. I do need to go fix where I'm polling. So where I did request meta, which was here. Let's see, if ordered by equals verified by. Okay. So on mobile, close this window. On desktop, close, keep this window, and close the other. think that's the right way to go about it. So what we could do is if we're on a mobile browser, which I don't even know how you know that. I'm guessing, well, if it says Android, well, even then that could be a Chromebook, right? I don't know how you tell that you're on a mobile browser. There's probably something, because even like device orientation and stuff like that, they work on desktops. A laptop will have a gyroscope in it. So I don't know what it is about a mobile device that is distinctly different from a desktop device, other than that they're terribly difficult to use. And I don't know that a program can tell that. Oh. All right, and I am checking to see if we got any comments or questions here. I think it's maybe a little lonely right now. I don't know if we've got... I don't think we've got much in the way of viewers. Sad day. Had several people this morning. Anyway. Yeah, that will work. To do, get token, finish login. All right, so what I want to do there is finalize exchange. So let's look at the finalize verification, and let's just copy it. And that's going to be similar for the exchange. So let me look for, there we go, the break. To do, get token, finish login. Actually, no, we need to go on to the next screen. But it's just a matter of, we have the challenge token here. So we need to distinguish that. It's actually going to be the same screen because we're going to show change this if the default is to not trust. Yes. That we actually don't need to worry about that part. What we do need to worry about is okay, finalize, verify, prompt remember device. And this one could have either of these. Now, I have thought this several times, but didn't mention it yet. I'm mixing camel case with snake case. But the reason is things that are going to and from APIs that need to be more machine parsable, those are in snake case. And the things that are just pure JavaScript, those are in camel case. So that's why I'm doing challenge token and ordered by and stuff like that. If it goes across the wire, should be snake case. End of story. And if it makes the JavaScript look a little less beautiful, so be it. All right, prompt remember device. Finalize exchange. Where was I using that? Right here. So prompt remember device. Challenge token. There we go. And then I guess I can't really await that. This is now going... It would be interesting to see if I could... I don't think it's worth it for this demo. But if I was going to make this bigger, stronger, better, faster, I would actually try to turn these things into promises. Although I'm not sure how much sense that makes when they can kind of branch a little bit. Anyway. Okay, so finalize exchange doesn't happen here anymore. Like a prompt, remember device, now needs to be updated. Okay, so it's now used in 2 places. And basically, I think that what I want to do on the front end, oops, challenge token, not challenge secret. And really, I don't want this to be a token. I want it to be a receipt. That's what I want to call it. Okay. We can go through that. And then finalize verifications. Really could just be called finalize. Probably. And what I'm going to do here is say let URL if challenge secret. Oops, sorry. If challenge token. Really, I guess it should just be, yeah, I should check secret first. So if secret, then URL is equal to this, else URL should be equal to this. Oops, why is it upset? Semicolon, no big deal, calm down. Ah, this is why. URL, and then the trust device. Okay, this looks right. So I don't need a finalize exchange. I can move this back where I like it. Okay, let's put that here. And what else was there? Yep, don't even need that. I was deleting it line by line because I was actually reading it and making sure there wasn't anything extra that I'd forgotten. Oh, hello. Welcome. All right. So now, I think we're maybe at a good point to test this again. Let's go ahead, exit out of here, clean up the screen. Let me close out some of these extra tabs so I can feel clean and fresh. I'm even going to take our repo tab and move it aside because I don't need to deal with any issues or anything right now. All right, so there are, well, maybe actually I do. I'm going to open up an issue just for the sake of thinking through this real quick. I'm not actually even going to save it. But so the different things that we need to take care of are open, let's see, start and verify in same browser on desktop. Start and verify in same browser on mobile. Start and verify in different browsers desktop or mobile. I think those are our three cases. So let's just go through those real quick. Start and verify it in the same browser on desktop. All right. So here we go. Let's clear this out. Email address, next, link, polling, open up browser, click remember me, and some sort of error. Finalize verifications is not defined. All right, so typo. Finalize verifications. And I am watching the comments on Twitch and YouTube. So if you got any questions, go ahead and hit me up. Finalize verification. Verifications, verification. Okay, cool. We will fix that. And let's see. I'm going to get a tab open with my email just so I can see these emails coming in as well. Cool. So that's looking good. All right. I'm going to close this tab, refresh. Next. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy the link address. I'm going to open the console first and then paste it in. That way I can see the whole thing. All right, so that looks good. Remember me. Oops, there was an unexpected error. Challenge token is not defined. Finalize verification, magic link. Okay, let's go take a look at that. Meantime, all right, I just wanted to see that was still polling. Challenge token is not defined, magic link 20. Uh-oh, uncaught promise. I definitely don't want those. Well, so let's check 95 first, because that's the more dangerous one. What? Oh. I guess... Wait. No, this is caught. What are you talking about? What? Finalize verification. What was that again? 95? Oh, okay. And here's the boo-boo. But how is that an uncaught promise? Await. Right here. So that's caught there. And finalize verification. It's being caught right there. And being caught right there. What about die? Oh, okay. Yeah. Throw error. Got it. I don't let's not. Well, we need to. We need to do that. Which means that we need a dot catch here. I'm not sure if that would even work because that's going to bubble up to probably an add event listener. I have to think about this more. What the best pattern for that is. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm going back over here. I'm going to do refresh. Same thing. Oops. Close this out. All right. Get our login email. Oops. Don't do that. Save this in here. And remember me. Success. It's safe to close this tab. Awesome. What about here? Verify that. So why is this still going? That's the question. So I need to fix that. If verified by. Okay, so in any case, break if verified by. Well, wait, that should have worked because you're either going to break or you're going to break. All right, well, let's try that again. Pull if verified by. Original. Let's just do this. Huh. I guess this should be that way. I guess we shouldn't. I don't know. Oh, it doesn't hurt to await it. Well, I want to wrap these in promises anyway. So one of these is going to be clicked, the other one is not going to be clicked. So if we did a return new promise, let's see. And more than that, I'd actually want to have this handler. Sorry, I'm getting off a little bit into a little early refactoring. Just because as I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, how would it be great for this to work? This is what I'm doing. All right. So this would be trust device. Okay, and then this one would be do not trust. And then the finally on these would be remove handlers. Let's see, does this need to be, yeah, it does need to be in there. So we would be doing remove event listener. Okay. That's fair enough. So when we prompt to remember the device, I think at this point we want that not to be hidden. And where are we doing this? What is visible right now? So that one, magic check, we want to be hidden. All right, so let's see about that. I think this should work. Okay. Congrats, you win. Check the console for your token. Oops, there was an error. That didn't feel right. Let's see. Oh, I think the email address that I'm testing with. Yeah, there's still some other code that's running here. So let me go into the application tab and just clear out the cookies and all that. Yeah. Whoops. Leave this open. So let's refresh. Okay, good. So it doesn't refresh. Copy link address. Oops. New tab. Open inspector. And I need to take a quick second just to reply. I might have to do this one more time. Okay, there we go. Just had to reply to something. And then remember me for 30 days is what I want to click. Success, it's safe to close this tab. So let's go look at the network info here. And when I did the complete, did I send trust device? Doesn't, okay, the preview is what I got back. Status valid, ID token, okay. And also I should have gotten a set cookie on this. Let me see, response headers. Set cookie ID token, yep. Cool. And then did I send trust device is true, good. Now if I click on this one, oh yeah, I need to take away this page. And not display that anymore. Okay, good. But what about this one? Poll results. Are we still polling? It is still running polling. Why would it still be running polling? Did I have a typo? Verified by. It doesn't seem to be a typo. It seems like it's still running the while loop. Let me go ahead and check over here. If verified by. Oh, .data. That's what it is. Resp. Yeah, request meta. Because we want to be able to check headers. Was that it? Request meta. Request meta returns. Yep, that's what it was. There we go. So really what I should do here is have a let data equals, or let meta equals meta resp.data. And then poll result is meta. Meta.verified by, meta.ordered by, meta.verified by. Okay. All right, so I think last time, and then I think it is time for another break, and I will be back in the evening for a little bit more. I will fix some errors. Okay, so we're coming clean here. Go check your email for the login link. This is me simulating checking with the login link. Okay. This already got info. Interesting. That is wrong. I'm going to go look at something real quick. I'm not going to change it. But, yeah. Okay, that's correct. Then where else do I have base 64 in here? Digest base 64. Okay. So this, of course, needs to be .replace. Oh. Plus needs to be replaced with minus, and / needs to be replaced with underscore, and equals needs to be replaced with nothing. I'm not going to save that. I'm just going to let it sit. Okay. So now if I click remember me for 30 days, I didn't actually save this, so the server didn't restart. Success. It's safe to close the tab, and then over here, verified. You can close this window now. Great. So how do we get a window to close itself? Whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. It's okay though. How to get window to close itself. Browser window. How to get browser window. And I remember this is one of those things that needs to be in a cheat sheet and a blog post. Because there's like 10 different ways that you have to do it. Window.close. Demo in a new tab. Close current window if possible. Okay. I think there's something else other than window.close. I think it was like there was more to it than that. Close current window. Close current window. Ooh. Indeed. How interesting. Huh. I gotta ask a buddy about this. He might know more. Okay, so the reason that I'm sitting here looking at this is because I want to know, how do you close? How do you get a tab to close? And it looks like maybe you can't. Hold on. Oh. Sorry, I didn't finish that sentence. Looks like maybe you can't always get a window to close. This is interesting. That stinks. That really stinks. Because we want... Well, the thing that we're relatively certain of is if they clicked on a link in their email, that's going to be in a new tab. So let's go back over here. Okay, let's say caveat. Might not be able to close original window. And I'm going to link to that resource that I found. thesitewizard.com. All right, how to close your web browser tab. JavaScript. Window.close workaround method that works. That sounds promising. 2015. Open location self-close. Yeah, I've seen this kind of stuff. Try this test page. Let's see if we can get this to work. All right, so we've got stuff in the back history. Oh, did that just work? I think it did just work. Huh. Okay. Dot. Or maybe we can get it to close on itself. All right. I'm actually going to go take this and put it in an issue now. I'm going to go down to our magic link email. All right. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to, you won't be able to see me do this. Well, no, I guess I could do it this way. So yeah, we can still do this actually. I want to test it on my actual phone. So I will. Let's see if it's actually getting, okay, it's there. Great. So that's unrelated to what we're doing. There's another script on the page that we're not, those errors are not related to what we've been working on right now. So I'm going to ignore them. Now, this next bit, whoa, okay. This next bit is, let's get all this stuff closed out again. All right. I'm going to try opening this on my phone. We're going to see what happens. I should get that email momentarily. Let's see if I'm getting it in my Gmail. Okay, 554, 5, yeah. So it looks like I did get it instantaneously in my Gmail. I just gotta wait for my phone to catch up. Let me see if I can go to my Gmail inbox. There we go. It's there. Okay, verify your email. Loading. Oh, and of course that's not going to work because I can't open up localhost on my phone. Duh. Alright, that's okay. We'll fix that. We'll fix that soon enough. Our good friend Telebit will come to the rescue. Alright, so for now, what I'm going to do is say open this in private window. And so we can see here that this is the user agent of what is requesting to log in, and I'm going to say log in temporarily. Okay. Verified. You can now close this window. Success. It's safe to close this tab. Cool. All right, well, I think that's a good stopping point for right now. There's definitely some finer detail that we have to work through, but I think this is a good place to pause and get some din-din for the win-win. Yeah, and I'm gonna get some din-din. Gonna have some friends, and then I will catch y'all later on this evening. So, if you enjoyed this, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, check down in the doobly-doo for the Beyond Code channel, this live channel, and my Morning Shower Thoughts channel. And I will catch you in the future. Adios.